भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयामदेवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः।
ॐ मौनं व्याख्या प्रकटित परब्रह्मतत्त्वं युवानं वर्षिष्ठान्ते वसदृशिगणैरावृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दरूपं स्वात्मा रामं उदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे यन्नित्यमानन्दमनन्तमेकं शिवेति नाम्ना श्रुतयो गृह्णन्ति तस्यावतारो नररूपधारी कृपासुदाब्धि भुवि रामकृष्णः जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयोः श्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां यैरिमे गुरुभिः पूर्वं पदवाक्यप्रमाणतः व्याख्याता सर्ववेदान्ताः तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम् यस्यात्मभूतस्य गुरोः प्रसादात् अहं विमुक्तोऽस्मि शरीरबन्धात् सर्वोपतेष्टुः पुरुषोत्तमस्य तस्याङ्घ्रियुग्मं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम्। Ishvara is described in our scriptures as Sharanyaha. Sharanyaha means protector. He protects whom? One who surrenders to him, he protects that person. The surrendering person is called Sharanagataha. One who protects is called Sharanyaha. He protects anyone who surrenders to him. The protection is in three forms. One is Rajasic method of protection, another one is Sattvic method of protection, third one is spiritual method of protection. For each protection, Shastra gives an epithet to the Lord. If Bhagavan protects the devotee who surrenders to him in a Rajasic mode, he is called Karma Phala Dhata. If the protection is in the Sattvic mode, he is called Dayaluhu. If the protection is in spiritual way, he is called Jagat Guru. I will explain. All these three roles are played by one and the same Lord. Being Loka Niyanta, he is Karma Phala Dhata. He is the cause of Srishti Sthiti Laya. Therefore, he has to govern this entire creation. On what basis he will govern the creation? On the basis of Dharma. Along with the creation, he has given the code of conduct. Every human being has this software. What is Dharma, what is Adharma, no one need to be taught. Everyone knows what is Dharma and Adharma. What is proper, what is improper, everyone knows. That's why we expect only proper things from others. So we don't want someone to cheat us, someone to tell lie to us, someone to grab our possession, someone to hurt us. So we know that these create hurt at the receiver's hand. Therefore, as a bhokta, I don't want these things. Similarly, I should be responsible person in following all these things. This is called intrinsic software. In every human mind, it is there. My teacher used to say, even a thief knows that stealing is wrong and telling lie is wrong. Two thieves entered a house. They threatened that house owner. Mother asked for bureau key, locker key. Which mother will hand over locker key? She told, no, the locker key is with my husband. He is out of station. Then the thief says, don't tell lie. Don't tell lie. Because when you tell lie, I am at loss. With lot of problems, I managed to escape from your house dog and entered your house. Now if you tell lie, then I will be at loss. Don't tell lie. So he threatens, then she hands over the key. Both of them took wealth and they went out safely. They were about to share those stolen items. One fellow told, already midnight, I am hungry. You also may be hungry. Please go to hotel and bring something to eat. One person went. The second person ran away with entire stolen things. The person who went to hotel, when he came back, he found his partner has cheated him. So he says, this fellow has cheated me. He has taken my wealth, he says. So even a thief knows, if somebody takes his own possession, what he considers as his own possession, if somebody takes, it hurts him. So dharma is intrinsic. In our Vedic culture, this is a beautiful idea. Dharma is not the mandate of the Lord, it is a manifestation of the Lord. There is a big difference. Mandate means there is an external entity which comes and says, you should be like this, you should be like that. If the hearer doesn't get conviction, then he will continue to be as he wants. So that is called mandate. But in our Vedic culture, we don't accept that Bhagavan has to come and say what is right and what is wrong. Already it is there in our common sense values, which I don't want others to do to me, I should not do. When I do, I am violating the law of the order. Moral order in the creation. That moral order, if it is violated, I get back. Any order, if it is violated, I get back. Traffic rule is an order. If you violate, you get back. Keeping your health requires lot of discipline. You have to keep physical hygiene, timely food, quality of food, everything. Anywhere violation happens, you get back. Similarly, at the mental level also, the person gets back. And that is called papam, agham, sin. If a person suffers because of this violation, and if he decides that I will not do it again, therefore, O Lord, please protect me from the dangers which is going to come from my violations. So he is called Sharanagataha. So a sinner comes to the Lord and asks for pardon. Bhagavan says, I will protect anyone. Apichet suduracharo bhajate maam ananya bhag sadureva samantavyaha samyak vyavasito hi saha. In the previous class, I explained this shloka. Since it happened 1 month before, and since some of you may be new, so I am bringing the context. Anyone can surrender to the Lord. Bhagavan decides what type of protection he should be given. Like any patient can go to the doctor, doctor should decide. Doctor decides what type of treatment, whether it is amputation or medication or simple counseling. He will decide. No patient has the right to say, sir, this is my problem, please give so and so medicine. No patient can say. If patient says like that, the doctor will tell, then why you have come to me? You yourself found out the disease and you are prescribing medicine. What is my role? Therefore, similarly, Bhagavan's role here is, he will decide what type of protection the sinner deserves. If it is so much atrocious one, Bhagavan says it cannot be cured by medication, so amputation method, that's how Ravana was protected. Hiranyakashipu, Shishupala. These people are protected by the Lord because they have requested the Lord that Bhagavan, don't forget, you have to protect me in this way only. I will be like this only, according to your wish, I will be like this only. So, you please come and we should be killed by you only. That is the protection they requested. Bhagavan also protected them by amputation method. Second method is medication method. So he cures but with little suffering. Then third one is spiritual method by teaching his own real nature. Dushana agha mochanaha is a word which describes three types of Lord's protection. One is karma phala dhata, another one is dayaluhu, third one is jagat guruhu. This epithet comes in the Aratri poem written by Swami Vivekananda. When Swami Vivekananda glorifies Bhagavan Sri Ram Krishna, he uses this word Dushane Agha Mochanaha. Agha means papam, sin. Mochanaha means one who gives freedom from that sin. Dushana Agha Mochanaha. One who gives freedom from despicable sin, ruining sin. In the previous class, I explained Agha Mochanaha word. Dushana Agha Mochanaha can be interpreted in two levels. One is Agha Mochanaha, remover of our papam. One who gives freedom from papam. How he gives freedom from papam? For cantankerous personalities, he removes that body so that he will not continue to do that same atrocities. At least next Janma he will have some new beginning. For second person, the amputation is not necessary. He can be in the same body, but still he will have little suffering. And in the process, Kshipram bhavati dharmatma shashvaschantim nigacchati kaunteya pradijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Apichet suduracharo. Even if he is the Nobel Prize winner in sinning, I accept him as he is. I don't demand he should be like this, like that. In whatever condition he is, I accept him. But after accepting him, I convert him as a dharmatma. Kshipram bhavati dharmatma. So slowly, along with suffering, this person tries to follow dharma. This is second level of protection. The third level of protection is the real protection, which is in the form of teaching the real nature of that individual. So in the last class, we saw the meaning of aghamochanaha. Today, we will see the meaning of dushana aghamochanaha. Dushana agham means ruining sin. Mochana means freedom. Dushana aghamochanaha means giver of freedom from ruining sin. Now the question is, we can understand what is sin. What do you mean by ruining sin? In Vedanta, the meaning of ruining sin is the sin which causes all other sins is called ruining sin. The root cause of all sins. In Abrahamic religion, they call it original sin. Christianity, Islam, Judaism, they call it original sin. It is done by someone else. But here in our Vedantic scripture, what is the root cause of all sins? The root cause of all sins and sinful activities is nothing but one's own ignorance about oneself. Atma Ajnanam is the cause of sinful tendencies and it makes everyone to violate the dharma. How it is? Shastra explains, Atma Ajnanat Adhyasaha. Adhyasaha means mohaha, delusion. Because of delusion, dehabhimanaha. Dehabhimana means considering oneself as a particular individual, considering oneself as Mr. Private Limited. My Acharya Swamiji used to say. So we consider ourselves as so and so. This is because of what? Because of confusion. What type of confusion? That I consider myself what I am not. Atasmin tat buddhihi. Bhagavan Shankaracharya describes this in his Brahma Sutra Bhashyam, Adhyasa Bhashyam. There he says, Adhyasam puraskritya eva sarve pramana prameya vyavaharaha laukikaha shastrani cha pravruttani. So because of this delusion, the individual doesn't know that he is infinite entity, therefore he is confused himself and finally end up with an identity which is body-mind complex, and unfortunately the body-mind complex happened to be a limited one, so he takes the limitations of body and mind as his own limitation, then he finds himself as an insignificant individual, as a wanting person. Nobody had taught him that you require so many things. As even he comes to this world, first thing is what? Crying. What does it mean? You give me something. Nobody has taught. Not only for a human being, even for animals, nobody has taught. But as even the calf is born, naturally the calf goes towards the mother asking for milk. So, Shankaracharya analyzes this action, that you want something, that means it presupposes you lack something. That lack presupposes absence of knowledge about yourself. So you don't know what you are, you don't know what you are Purnaha, therefore you identify, because of confusion, you identify yourself with body. Body has lot of problems, and you take that problems as your problem, then you cannot stand these problems, therefore you want to solve these problems, then you go for varieties of actions in solving these problems. In Sanskrit, beautifully, they will tell, Atma Ajnanat Adhyasaha. Adhyasat Parichinnatvam. Parichinnatvat Dehabhimanaha. Dehabhimanatvat Kamaha. Kamat Karmaha. Karma Punya Papam. Punya Papam again leads to Punarjanma. Again self-ignorance. Again delusion. Again identity with a particular body-mind complex. Again desires. Again varieties of actions. Those actions produce varieties of results. So Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, vicious cycle. You cannot avoid violating Dharma. As long as a person is self-ignorant, he cannot avoid violating Dharma. Because one moment or the other, he is simply deluded by this creation. No one wants, no driver or no person who drives the car or any vehicle wants to get accident, correct? He is very careful, alert. But if you go to a hospital, many hospitals thrive because of this accident. You ask any person, sir, how many times you decide to be here? How much money you spend to reach this emergency ward? Did you have the desire? Did you plan? Did you work for it? He will tell, never. But I landed here. That means what? He will tell, one moment of some confusion. Instead of putting my leg on brake, I have put the leg on accelerator. So it went and dashed. So, Shastra says, as long as you are self-ignorant, you cannot avoid violating Dharma. Therefore, in order to get rid of complete cycle called Punya Papa Karma, you have to know your real nature. Not only that, the reality about yourself is, you cannot do any papam at all. You cannot do any papam. Even if you want, you cannot do any papam because you are akarta. You are a non-doer. You cannot do any papam. In the Upanishad it says, Hantaschain manyate hantagum, hataschain manyate hatam, ubhauto na vijanitaha, nayagam hanti na hanyate. If one considers that I am killing, and if another person considers I am killed, both are deluded, both don't know what they are. So the individual can neither be the killer nor be killed. That means he cannot do any action or he cannot receive the result of any action. Asino duram vrajati shayano yati sarvataha. He is sarvagata vastu. The individual is in reality sarvagata vastu. But since he doesn't know that he is sarvagata vastu, since he identifies himself with his particular body-mind complex, he considers himself as a doer. It's a nice philosophy. Anybody can misinterpret. After killing someone, someone say, Hantaschen manyate hantagum, hataschen manyate hatam. Ubhautau na vijanitaha, nayaham hanti na hanyate. In court he can tell to the judge, oh judge, I can never be killer, nor he can be killed. If you think that I am the killer and he is killed, you are ignorant. The judge may ask, oh, that is the fact about yourself. So you can never kill anyone? Yes. What is the reason? How you can never kill anyone? Because I am sarvagata vastu. I am sarvagata vastu. Therefore I cannot do any action. Because action means movement. Movement means limitation. Being unlimited, being infinite, how can I move from one place to another place? Therefore I cannot do any action. Then the judge also will tell, if he is an Indian judge, if he will tell, yes, I accept that. Neither you have killed him, nor he is killed. Similarly, neither I give you punishment, capital punishment, nor you are going to be killed. Let him be hanged. Correct? Because you are not going to be killed. If he is not going to be killed, you are also not going to be killed. Why you are bothered about it? So, the reality about ourselves cannot be misinterpreted. And it cannot be told a cantankerous person at a beginning stage. Therefore, Bhagavan makes him Dharmatma. Kshipram bhavati Dharmatma. When he becomes Dharmatma, then he is not going to continue to do any sin. In that condition, in a matured state of mind, when Bhagavan teaches this, what happens? That reality is understood by the individual. As long as this ignorance exists, the individual lives a animalistic life, violating the dharma. In Gita, Bhagavan says, Nadatte kasya chit papam nachaiva sukrutam vibhuhu ajnanena vratam jnanam tena mukhyanti jantavaha. Jantavaha, jantus. Jantus means living being. Tena mukhyanti. Because of this ignorance, they are deluded. Nadatte kasya chit papam. No papam can be attributed to this individual. Nachaiva sukrutam vibhuhu. Neither he can be a papi nor he can be a punyavan. But the individual considers himself either as punyavan or papi. Because of self-ignorance. Therefore, Vedanta says, as long as the self-ignorance is there, you will have this dehabhimanam. As long as dehabhimanam is there, you will identify yourself with a smallness, with pettiness, with problems of this body and mind. Then it will make you to do some actions. Those actions, however you are careful maybe, will be violating dharma in certain places, certain situations. So, Shankaracharya says, Adhyasam puraskritya eva sarve pramana prameya vyavaharaha laukikaha vaidikascha sarvani cha shastrani vidhi pradisheda moksha parani. Third level of protection is removal of this self-ignorance, and that is called dushana aghamochanaha. If you take simple aghamochanaha, remover of sins. If you take dushana aghamochanaha, means remover of self-ignorance. Here Swami Vivekananda glorifies Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna as dushana aghamochanaha, one who gives freedom from self-ignorance, one who gives freedom from ruining sin, despicable sin. Root cause of all sins he is given freedom. Then the question comes, how the Lord destroys our self-ignorance? In that stotra, Swami Vivekananda says, Vikshane mohaha jai. Vikshane mohaha jai. Just by his vikshanam, he destroys our self-ignorance. What do you mean by vikshanam? A glance, looking at another person. If Bhagavan looks at someone, his self-ignorance goes away. Just by a mere glance, he destroys self-ignorance of the surrenderer. Through which instrument Bhagavans look at? Through which instrument we are looking? Through our eyes. When we look, nobody's self-ignorance vanishes. When Bhagavan looks at us, our self-ignorance vanishes, like that Swami Vivekananda says. Then the question comes, by which instrument he looks at? Because of which our self-ignorance goes away? When we ask, Swamiji says, Jnananjana Vimala Nayana Vikshane. It is not a simple, ordinary look of eyes with flesh. Generally our eyes are with flesh, na? Bhagavan also doesn't have that fleshy eyes. So what is eyes? Jnananjana Vimala Nayana Vikshane Mohaha Jai. Oh Lord, when you looks at me, through your Jnananjana Vimala Nayanam, my ignorance is destroyed. That is the assertion. Then Jnananjana Vimala Nayana means what? Nayana means eyes. Our Nayanam is fleshy eyes, made up of flesh, body. But Bhagavan's eyes made up of Jnananjanam and Vimala Nayanam. Jnanameva Anjanam, Jnananjanam, Jnananjanena Vimalaha Nayanam Yasya Saha Jnananjana Vimala Nayanaha Tasya Jnananjana Vimala Nayana Vikshanena Mohaha Nashyati. So the question comes, what do you mean by Jnana Anjanam? Anjana means collyrium. In Tamil they call it kanmai. Karuppa irukku, kanla podu. So mothers use that collyrium to clear the eyes, to make the vision clear. So that collyrium is applied to the eyes. What collyrium is applied here to the Bhagavan's eyes? Jnanam applied. Jnanam. The collyrium called Jnanam. Knowledge collyrium. It's all mystical language. Collyrium we understand. Eyes we understand. What do you mean by knowledge collyrium? Then Shastra comes to our rescue. He says, Jnanam eva anjanam. The knowledge itself is collyrium. Bhagavan applies that knowledge in his eyes, then he sees others. Since we don't apply that knowledge collyrium in our eyes and see others, and we say what? You are idiot. You are papi. You have cheated me. Like that we blame others. But Bhagavan doesn't blame anyone. If Bhagavan starts blaming, he will have restless nights and days, Where it will end, you tell. So when you go to the temple, oh Lord, asking for some help, oh Lord, give peace of mind. If Bhagavan sees us like this, you fellow, yesterday only you did that adharma, do you think that I have forgotten? If he starts talking like this, will we go tomorrow? Oh, anga pona and Sami pesuduppa. When you go to the temple, that Bhagavan is speaking. So we don't want a speaking Bhagavan. If you go to Tirupati Venkatachalapati, lakhs and lakhs of people are standing there with all appeals and applications. And majority of them will be what you call adharmic appeals and adharmic applications. And Bhagavan helps them. Therefore, this fellow comes with an advance or comes with final payment. Like that only. You can see many people with lot of gold coins and other things. Then if you ask what is the reason for this much of donation, he will tell nice contract he has arranged. So I gave advance for nice government contract. I got this much of percentage. Now I am sharing this. So if Bhagavan starts speaking, Ayogya Payale, Like that, if he starts, anybody will go. He doesn't speak, but he knows. Not only he knows, he sees us with all compassion. What makes him to be compassionate towards us? What makes the Lord, when he was in human form as Avatara, to be compassionate with the entire humanity? Shastra says, because while coming itself, he has applied this collyrium called knowledge. He is prepared for it. These fellows may crucify me in certain culture. In the Krishna Avatara, he knows this fellow will come and fight me. From the day one onwards, this fellow will conspire to kill me. Putana will come, Sakadasura will come. But all are blessed. Okay? All are blessed in their own way as they wanted. With all love and affection, all are blessed by the Lord. How you know? They say after getting blessing in the form of killing, they say, we are dhanyohum, dhanyohum, dhanyohum. In Ramavatara, many Rakshasas come and getting killed. Then after getting killed, they say, you did very nice thing for us, O Lord. Vali was killed by Rama. What Vali says? Aha, dhanyohum, dhanyohum. Maricha was killed by Rama. Maricha says, dhanyohum, dhanyohum. Ravana gives option to Maricha. If you obey me, I will not kill you. If you don't obey me, I will kill you. Maricha thought, if I obey Ravana, I will be killed by Rama. If I don't obey, I will be killed by Ravana. So better to obey Ravana and being killed by Rama. So they opt for Bhagavan's hands for amputation ceremony. Why? Because even while killing, Bhagavan doesn't have hatred. It's all act of compassion. Both have nice. The killer and the doctor. Both have nice. But to the doctor, we offer ourselves with lot of payment. And we sign. When operation happens, if anything happens, if I don't come back because of lot of anesthesia, if I don't come back, doctor is not to be held as responsible. It is my prarabdha. So with all voluntary signature, we hand ourselves to the doctor. How do we do? Because we have a faith that his knives are not to destroy me but to protect me. Similarly, Prachanna Bhaktas, these Asuras and Rakshasas are called hidden devotees. Their devotion is expressed in this way. So Bhagavan protects them. Here, why Bhagavan is not angry with anyone in spite of killing everyone? Generally, we kill because of anger, correct? But Bhagavan's killing is not with anger. How is it? Without anger, how a person can be killed? In our local example, you can see, judge gives a capital punishment. Does he do with anger? Please tell. Is there any hatred in the mind of judge when he gives capital punishment to a criminal? There is no an iota of hatred in the mind of the judge. He is so objective. He analyzes the entire case. Days together he gives chance. Then finally, when the judge finds there is no way for him to allow him to be in society, he should be removed. Then with all pain, he writes the judgment, and after writing the judgment, what the judge does generally? He breaks that pen. Similarly, Bhagavan also, even though it is a painful thing, he doesn't have any hatred. Why he doesn't have any hatred? Shastra says, because he has knowledge collyrium applied in his eyes. What is that knowledge collyrium? Shastra says, Bhagavan knows certain facts in his life. Whether he is Ishvara or Avatara or in the temple. Bhagavan's manifestation is available in three forms. As Ishvara. In our Hindu tradition, they call, he is sitting in Kailasha, he is lying down in Vaikunta, like that. That is one type of manifestation. Then avatara. In a particular time, in a particular society, he manifests. Like Rama, Krishna, Sri Ramakrishna, like that. And all the time we have Lord's manifestation in pratimas, in temples, in our puja rooms. When he takes this manifestation, he knows certain facts. What is that fact? Sarvam hetad brahma, ayam atma brahma. Everything is myself. Everything is myself. Brahma vedad amrutam purastad, Brahma paschat, Brahma dakshinataha uttarascha, adhascha urdhvam prasudam, Brahmai vedam vishwamitam varishtam. Above is Brahman, below is Brahman. Right side Brahman, left side. It's all poetic way of expression. So, ekameva advitiyam Brahma. Tad Brahma aham asmi. There is only one entity in the entire creation, and it is myself. So kamayate bahusyam prajaye eti satapo tapyate satapastaptva idagum sarvam asrajate. Like that, Bhagavan knows the fact, I am alone. I have manifested as this creation. So, there is no second entity to be angry with. With whom I will be angry? According to Bhagavan, there is no second entity to be angry with. We think that we are existing different from the Lord and we are violating the dharma, therefore guilt and fear is there, therefore we go to the Lord and we surrender to the Lord asking for protection. That is our standpoint. What is Bhagavan's standpoint? Bhagavan says, Mattaf parataram nanyati kinjidasti dhananjaya mayi sarvamitam prodam sutre manigana ive. There is no second entity at all other than me. These are all nothing but Leela. This Paramarthika Darshanam makes the Lord to be compassionate. This knowledge is called knowledge which purifies the vision of the person. This knowledge is called the knowledge which purifies the vision of the person. We also perceive so many things in the creation, but our perception is not a pure perception because we don't have this knowledge. I will tell one small example. If a person scolds someone, immediately second person kicks, or he also uses some divine words. But you scold Lord, he doesn't speak anything. What is the difference? It is because as long as I consider someone different from me is hurting me, then I will respond to him. Correct? If I consider that someone is there different from me and he is creating trouble to me and he is hurting me, then I will respond accordingly. If I consider that someone also is me, will I hurt him? I will not hurt. For example, teeth bites tongue. Our teeth sometimes bites tongue. What we do? Do we take a hammer and punish the teeth? But if somebody's teeth bites our tongue, we take big hammer and punish it. Okay? If our own teeth bites our own tongue, we don't do anything. We simply swallow. 5 minutes dhyanam happens. That time 5 minutes meditation happens. Why? Because there is a knowledge. Teeth also myself. Tongue also myself. This is Advaitic knowledge. This is with regard to our own physical parts. Okay? Bhagavan has, with regard to entire creation, Bhagavan has this vision. Mattaf parataram nanyat. Kinjidasti. Not even an iota is there, exists different from me. Therefore, I cannot be angry with anyone. Then we read varieties of punishments are there for poppies and other things. Those are all from the perception of the ignorant individual. From the perception of the ignorant individual, those are all facts. But from the perception of the Lord, everything is myself. Since he doesn't have ignorance, he cannot have raga dvesha likes and dislikes. Human mind is full of ignorance, therefore it has likes and dislikes. When liked item doesn't come, he reacts. When liked item goes away without his permission, he reacts. When disliked item comes, he reacts. So, Bhagavan doesn't have this deficiency. Ragadvesha is not there. Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshosti na priyaha. Bhagavan says, I cannot hate anyone, nor I can be attached to anyone. Because there is no second entity other than me to be attached with or to hate. Understand? So this is the knowledge, this is the pure vision, this is the pure perception. The knowledge makes the perception of the Lord as a pure perception. Therefore, He is always ever accommodative. Ahetuka daya sindhuhu kripaluhu. Bhagavan Sri Ram Krishna used to say, the difference between human beings' love and Lord's love. The difference between human beings' perception and Lord's perception. You do 99 dharmic acts, noble acts. But inadvertently, only one adharmic act you do. The society will perceive you as adharmic person. Whereas you do 99 bad actions and do only one action, good action, Bhagavan will call you sadhu, good person. Apichet suduracharo bhajate mam ananya bhag sadhureva samantavyaha. I consider him as a sadhu, noble man. Whom you consider as a noble man? Nobel Prize winner criminal I consider as a noble man. Imagine. He is the greatest sinner in the world. Even if he comes to me and surrenders to me, that is the one act he has done, noble act. I accept him. What is the proof? Ajamila story we have. Inadvertently he called Narayana. That's all. He was given one more opportunity. He was not given moksha. He was given one more opportunity for leading a dharmic life. Gajendra called Bhagavan. He also was given one more opportunity. So Bhagavan gives many opportunities. So Bhagavan's forgiveness, accommodativeness and daya all are based on this knowledge. What knowledge? Other than me, there is no second entity. Because of this knowledge alone, he is Purnaha. He is full and complete. There is no second entity even to desire something. Everything is me. What to desire? Kimichan kasya kamaya shariram anusanjare. Upanishad asks. Desiring for what? For whose sake this individual who has this vision will go after it. Our life is what? We go after something, we want to return from something. We go after something that is called pravritti. We want to get rid of something that is called nivritti. But Bhagavan doesn't have this problem because he is Purnaha. He is desireless. Being desireless, no expectation. Being without expectation, no disappointment. There is no disappointment means there is no anger or fear. Aham Purnosmi. Name parthasti kartavyam trishulokeshu kinchane nanavaptam avaptavyam vartayevacha karpani. Bhagavan says, I don't have anything to attain. There is nothing valued one in this creation for which I can have desire, because I am everything. This vision is called pure vision. By this vision, since Bhagavan sees everyone, he is called Dayaluhu. This vision makes the sinner to get rid of ignorance. It's a beautiful claim. You have to little bit think. Here Swami Vivekananda says, O Lord, you are removing my sin. The removal of sin is at 3 levels. First level is, if it is most cantankerous one, you give one more birth and opportunity by amputation method. If it is so mediocre one, you give one more opportunity in the very same birth and try to make me dharmic person. And if I am qualified, you destroy the samsara, destroy the ignorance of every seeker just by mere looking. How you remove my samsara, how you remove my delusion? By seeing. By seeing through the eyes which are smeared with knowledge collyrium. Then the question comes, how a person seeing can remove another person's problem? Please tell. Is it possible? Okay, Bhagavan can be knowledgeable one. He is knowledgeable one. He doesn't have any anger. He doesn't have any wants. He doesn't have any, what we call, disappointments. He is happy, Purnaha. He is accommodative. Okay, I accept it. Because of this knowledge, he is accommodative and Purnaha. Now, Swami Vivekananda says, when that Purnaha, Bhagavan sees me, I become Purnaha. How is it? When you see me, how I can become Purnaha? For example, two people are there. One person has vision. Another is blind. Suppose somebody says, this person who has vision, if he sees that blind man, the blind man gets vision. Will you accept? Every individual is spiritually blind. Bhagavan is spiritually full of vision. So if Bhagavan sees me, individual gets knowledge. How is it? Here the Shastra explains, the Vikshanam, the looking at, is not literal sense, in the literal sense, but in the form of teaching. When he looks at the individual, when he looks at the sadhaka, what he does? He teaches. Oh my dear child, your real nature also is this only. You are also an unlimited entity. You are Akhanda Vastu. Through Upanishad Shastram, through Smriti Shastram, he teaches the humanity, addressing the humanity, Shrinvantu Vishve Amrutasya Putra. You are not Mrutasya Putra. You are not going to die. You are not born out of someone who is going to die. Generally we have two ideas. Either I am going to die or I am born to someone who is going to die. We don't tell that openly, but when we tell our name and biodata, that only we mean. Who are you? I am so and so, son of so and so. Date of birth. Date of death we don't know. But we know that there is a date of death. Aged. Age means what? Towards that destination. Like that we give data about ourselves as data belong to something which is perishable. Here Shastra, which is nothing but the Lord's words, addresses every individual in the creation as Shrinvantu Vishve Amrutasya Putra Aye Dhamani Divyani Tatsu Vedahametam Purusham Mahantam Aditya Varnam Tamasaf Parastha. You want to get rid of this limitation, this guilt, this fear, this anxiety. There is only one way. Know yourself. You are not a limited individual with a particular body-mind complex. You are that conscious entity because of which body-mind sense work. Generally what we think? I am a conscious entity with body-mind complex. That is our knowledge. Bhagavan says, you are not conscious entity with body-mind complex. You are that conscious entity because of which the body-mind complex is working. Very subtle idea. Shrotrasya shrotram manaso manoyat vachoho vacham savu pranasya pranaha chakshusha chakshuhu atimuchyati dhiraha pretya asman lokar amruta bhavanti. If you know that entity as yourself, that entity which is behind all sense organs, we consider ourselves, we are living entity with lot of sense organs, correct? But Shastra says, you are not that entity with the sense organs, you are that entity because of which the sense organs are alive. Shrotrasya shrotram, manaso manoyat, vachoho vacham. Eye of the eye, ear of the ear, the speech of the speech. What we understand? This is what Upanishad. This is what Upanishad. If somebody says, you are eye of the eye, ear of the ear, head of the head, tongue of the tongue, speech of the speech, what we understand? What we understand? Thank you, Swami. He'll tell, thank you, Swami. That's what Upanishad is in that language only. Because it tries to break our normal thought flow. We are in a groove of normal thought flow. Anybody who asks, who are you? Immediately we have one CV, curriculum vitae or biodata they call it. And they ask for Swamis also. Swamiji, your biodata, please give. Swami day in, day out is telling nobody has biodata. And people ask a biodata from Swami. What to do? That is the problem. So Upanishad says you have to get rid of this ignorant way of thinking. You are not a sinner, nor you are born of a sinner. In reality, you are not born at all. Na jayate mriyate va vipaschite. Nayam kutaschinna babuva kaschite. Swami, I am celebrating birthday. This is 42nd. Birthday is for your body, not for you. You are not living as a creature in this world. You are not one among the living beings in the world. You are that entity who is present in all living beings. You are not one among the creation. You are that entity because of whom the entire creation is revealed. That is the status Shastra wants to give to every individual. And unfortunately, since the mind is disturbed, since the mind is polluted, since the mind is full of adharma, this teaching doesn't enter the mind. Even when it is heard repeatedly, Ascharyo Vakta Kushalosya Labdha, Ascharyo Jnata Kushala Anushishtaha. There are very few people who can teach this knowledge. There are very, very few students who can receive this knowledge. Why generally people are not able to receive this knowledge? Why it doesn't enter in our mind? Because of impurity of the mind. Therefore, here Swami Vivekananda says, "O Lord, you have fortunately removed my ignorance." It's a poem, it's a beautiful poem written by Swami Vivekananda out of gratitude. Entire Aratri song which we are singing daily is a poem written out of gratitude by Swami Vivekananda. That poem of gratitude is prayer for other people. If an ignorant person sings, it is a prayer. Oh Lord, you are such an entity who can destroy the samsara, who can destroy the ignorance of every seeker just by mere looking. Therefore I surrender to you. Dushana agamochane chidghana kai. Jnananjana vimala nayane vikshane mohaha jai. Just by your glance, my adharma will go initially. Then my ignorance also will go ultimately. Oh Lord, please have a glance at me. The glance means, having glance means what? Teaching. What is the meaning of seeing? Lord seeing us? The meaning is teaching. Therefore, the teaching is that we are not a finite being, we are infinite entity. That teaching is the takeaway from the shloka. Jnananjana vimala nayana vikshane mama mohaha jai, mama mohaha nashyati. How the teaching reveals the individual's real nature, we will see in the next class. Om Niranjanam Nityam Anantarupam Bhaktanukampa Dhrida Vigraham Vai Ishavataram Parameshamidhyam Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namami. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat श्रीरामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु।